Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram. Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sai Nath Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sai Karnananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Jagat Guru Bal Yogiraj Sai Nara Maharaj Ki Jai. Sai Leelavati Mata Ki Jai. Sri Sai Sachitra, Chapter 9th. Effect of compliance and non-compliance with Baba's orders at the time of taking leave. A few instances, mendicancy and its necessities, and devotees' Tarkard families' experiences. Baba feed sumptuously how. At the end of the last chapter, it was barely started that the bhaktas who obeyed Baba's orders at the time of taking leave fared well, and those who disobeyed them suffered many a mishap. This statement will be amplified and illustrated with few striking instances, and by other matters deals with it in this chapter. Characteristic of Shirdi pilgrimage. One special peculiarity of Shirdi pilgrimage was this, that none could leave Shirdi without Baba's permission, and if he did, he invited untold sufferings. But if anyone was asked to quit Shirdi, he could stay no longer. Baba gave certain suggestions or hints when Bhaktas went to bid goodbye and take leave. These suggestions had to be followed. If they were not followed or were departed from, accidents were sure to befall them. Who acted contrary to Baba's directions, we give below a few instances. Tatya Kote Patil. Tatya Kote Patil was once going in a tanga to Kopargaon Bazaar. Baba said, "Don't make haste. Stop a little. Let go the bazaar. Don't go out of the village." On seeing his hand's anxiety to go, Baba asked him to take Shama, Madhavrao Deshpande, at least with him. Not minding this direction, Tatyakote immediately drove his tanga of the two horses, one which cost 300 and was very active and restless. After passing Solwell, it began to run harsh rashly, got a sprain in its waist, and fell down. Tatya was not much hurt, but was reminded of Mother Sai's direction. On other occasion, while proceeding to Kulhar village, he disregarded Baba's direction and drove in a tanga which met with a similar accident. European gentleman. One European gentleman of Bombay once came to Shirdi with an introductory note from Nana Sahib Chandokar and with some object in view. He was comfortably accommodated in the tent. He wanted to kneel before Baba and kiss his hand. Therefore, he tried thrice to step into the masjid, but Baba prevented him from doing so. He was asked to sit in the open courtyard below and take Baba's darshan from there. Not pleased with this reception, he wanted to leave Shirdi at once and came to bid goodbye. Baba asked him to go to the next day and not to hurry. People also requested him to abide Baba's direction, not listening to all this. He left Shirdi in a tanga. The horses ran at a first all right, but when Solwell was passed, a bicycle came in the front, seeing which the horses were frightened and ran fast. The tanga was turned topsy-turvy, and the gentleman fell down and was dragged some distance. He was immediately realized that, but he had to go and lean in Kopargaon hospital for the treatment and injuries. Because of such experiences, all people learned the lesson that those who disobeyed Baba's instructions met with accidents in one way or the other, and those who obeyed them were safe and happy. The necessity of the mendicancy. Now, to return to the question of the mendicancy, a question may arise in the minds of some that if the Baba was such a great personage, God, in fact, why should he have recourse to a begging bowl all his lifetime? This question may be considered and replied from two standpoints. Who are the fit persons who have a right to live by the begging bowl? Our Shastras say that those persons who getting rid of or becoming free from the three main desires, that is the progeny, for wealth or for fame, accept sannyas, or are the fit persons to live by begging alms. They cannot make cooking arrangements and dine at home. The duty of feeding them rests on the shoulders of the householders. Sai Baba was neither a householder nor Vanasprastha. He was a celibate sannyasi from boyhood. His firm conviction was that the universe was his home. He was the Lord Vishnu and the supporter of the universe and the imperishable Brahman, so he had the full right to have recourse to the begging bowl. Now, from the standpoint of Panchasuna, five sins and their atonement. We all know that in order to prepare foodstuffs and meals, the householders have to go through five actions, that is, processes kandani, pounding, peshini, grinding, udakumbhi, washing pots, marjani, sweeping and cleaning, chulli, lighting huts. These processes involve destruction of the lot of small insects and creatures, and thus the householders incur a lot of sin. In order to atone for this sin, our ancestors prescribed five kinds of sacrifices: Brahma Yagna, Vedha Dhyana, offering to Brahma, or the study of the Vedas, the Pitri Yagna, offering to the ancestors, Deva Yagna, offering to the gods, Bhuta Yagna, offering to the beings. Manushya Atiti Yagna, offering to the man or uninvited guest. If these sacrifices enjoined by the Shastras are duly performed, the purification of their minds is effected, and this helps them to get knowledge and self-realization. Baba, in going from house to house, reminded the inmates of their sacred duty, and fortunate were the people who got the lesson at their homes from Baba. Devotees' experiences. Now to turn to the other more interesting subject, Lord Krishna has just said in the Bhagavad Gita, 9th verse 26, whosoever devotedly offers to me a leaf, a flower, or a fruit, or a water of that pure-hearted man, I accept that pious offering. In the case of Sai Baba, if a devotee really longed to offer anything to Sai Baba, and if he afterwards forgot to offer the same, Baba reminded him for his friend about the offering and made him present it to him, and then accepted it and blessed the devotee. A few instances are given below. Tarkar family, father and the son. Mr. Ramchandra Atmaram alias Baba Sahib Tarkar, formerly a Prathana Samajist, was a staunch devotee of the Sai Baba. His wife and son loved Baba equally, or perhaps more. It was once proposed that the Master Tarkar should go with his mother to Shirdi and spend his May vacation there, but the son was unwillingly to go, as he had thought that in case he left his home at Bandra, the worship of the Sai Baba in the house would not be properly attended, and his father, being a Prathana Samajist, would not care to worship Sai Baba's enlarged portrait. However, on this father's giving an assurance of oath that he would perform the worship exactly as the son was doing, the mother and the son left for Shirdi on one Friday night. Next day, Saturday, Mr. Tarkar got up early, took his bath, and before proceeding with the puja, prostrated himself before the shrine and said, Baba, I am going to perform the puja exactly as my son has been doing, but please let it not be a formal drill. After he performed the puja, he offered a few pieces of plum sugar as naivedya, which was distributed at the time of lunch. That evening on Sunday, everything went on well. The following Monday was a working day, and it also passed well. Mr. Tarkar, who had never performed puja like this in all his life, felt great confidence within himself that everything was passing on quite satisfactorily according to promise given to the son. On Tuesday, he performed the morning puja as usual and left for his work. Coming home at noon, he found that there was no prasad. to partake of. When the meal was served, he asked the servant cook, who told him that there was no offering made that morning and that he had completely forgotten then to perform the part of the puja performing offering Nevedya. After eating, he left his seat and prostrated himself before the shrine, expressed his regret at the same time Baba for the want of guidance in making of the whole affair a matter of marital. Then he wrote a letter to his son stating the facts and requested him to lay it before Baba's feet and ask his pardon for his neglect. This happened in the Bandra at Tuesday noon. At about the same time when the noon aarti was just about to commence in Shirdi, Baba said to the Mrs. Tarkar, "Mother, I had to be in your house in Bandra with a view to having something to eat. I found the door locked. I somehow got an entrance inside and found to my regret, that Bhau, Mr. Turkert, had left nothing to me to eat. So I have returned from there without eating anything." The lady could not understand anything, but the son, who was close by, understood that there was something wrong with the puja in the Bandra, and he therefore requested Baba to permit him to go home. Baba refused the permission but allowed him to perform puja there. Then the son wrote a letter to his father stating all that took place at the Shirdi and implored his father not to neglect the puja at home. Both these letters crossed each other and were delivered to the respective parties. The next day, is this not astonishing? Mrs. Tharkar. Let us now take up the case of Mrs. Tharkar herself. She offered three things: bharit, roasted brinjal, egg plant, mixed curds and spices, kachariya, circular pieces of brinjal fried in ghee, and peda, sweet meal ball. Let us see how Baba accepted him. Once Mr. Raghuveer Bhaskar Purandare of Bandra, a great devotee of Baba, started for Shirdi with his family. Mrs. Tolkar went to Mrs. Purandare and gave him two brinjals and requested her to prepare barit on of one brinjal and kachari of the other. When she went to the Shirdi and served Baba with them, after reaching Shirdi, Mrs. Purandare went with her dishes of the bharit to the masjid, and when the Baba was just about to start his meals, Baba found the bharit very tasty, so he distributed it to all and said that he wanted kacharias now. Word was sent to the Radhakrishna Mai that Baba wanted kacharias. She she was in a fix, as that was no season of brinjals, how to get brinjals, but the question was that when an inquiry was made as to who brought the bharit, and it was found that Mrs. Purandare was also entrusted with the duty of the serving kacharias. Everybody then came to know the significance of the Baba's inquiry regarding kacharias and was wonderstruck at Baba's all-pervasive knowledge. In December 1915 AD, one Govind Balaram Mangad wanted to go to the Shirdi to perform the obsequies of his father. Before he left, he came to see Mr. Durkar, and then Mrs. Durkar wanted to send something with him to Baba. He searched the whole house but found nothing except peda, which had already been offered as Nevidya. Mr. Mankar was in mourning, still no, out of great devotion to Baba. She sent the peda with him, hoping that Baba would accept and eat it. Govind went to the Shirdi and saw Baba but forgot to take the peda with him. Baba simply waited. When again he went to the Baba in the afternoon, he went empty handed without the peda. Baba could wait no longer and therefore asked him straight, "What did you bring for me?" "Nothing," was the reply. Baba asked him again. The same reply came forth again. Then Baba asked him the leading question: "Did not the mother, Mrs. Tarkar, give some sweetmeat to you for me at the time of your starting?" The boy then remembered the whole thing. He felt abashed, asked Baba's pardon, ran to his lodging, brought the pera and gave it to the Baba. As soon as Baba got it in his hand, he put it in his mouth and gulped it down. Thus, the devotion of Mrs. Tharkar was recognized and accepted as men believe in me, so do I accept them. Bhagavad Gita, 4th verse, 4th chapter, 11th verse. Was proved in this case. Baba fed sumptuously how? Once Mrs. Tharkar was staying in the certain house in Shirdi. At noon, were ready and dishes were being served. When a hungry dog turned up there and began to cry, Mrs. Tharkar got up at once and threw a piece of bread, which the dog gulped with a great relish. In the afternoon, when she went to the masjid and sat at some distance, Sai Baba said to her, "Mother, you have fed me sumptuously, but up to my throat. My afflicted pranas, life forces, have been satisfied. Always act like this, and this will stand you in a good stead. Sitting in the masjid, I shall never speak untruth. Take pity on me like this. First give bread to the hungry, and then eat yourself. Note this well." She could not at first understand the meaning of what Baba said, so she replied, "Baba, how could I feed you? I am myself dependent on others and take my food from them on payment." Then Baba replied, "Eating that lovely bread, I am heartily contented, and I am still blanching. The dog which you saw before meals and to which you give the piece of bread is one with me. So also other creatures, cats, pigs, flies, cows, etc., are one with me. I am roaming in their forms. He who sees me in all these creatures is my beloved, so abandon the sense of the duality and distinction and serve me, as you did today, drinking these nectar like words. She was moved, her eyes were filled with tears, her throat was choked, and her joy knew no bounds. Moral: see God in all beings is the moral of this chapter. The Upanishad, the Gita, the Bhagavad all exhort us to perceive God or divinity in all the creatures. By the instance given at the end of this chapter and others too numerous to mention, Sai Baba has practically demonstrated to us how to put the Upanishadic teachings into practice. In this way, Sai Baba stands as the best exponent and teacher of the Upanishadic doctrines. Bo to Sri Sai, peace be to all. Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj ki jai. Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sai Karnananda Maharaj ki jai. Sri Sachidananda Jagat Guru Bal Yugraj Sai Narayan Maharaj ki jai. Sai Leelavati Mata ki jai. Om Sai Ram.